This is lesson 1-2, adding integers with different signs. So in the first lesson, we looked at adding numbers that were both positive or both negative, and I could really have one of each. So we're just going to talk about what happens. And as you can see, we've got some number lines, we've got some straight up math problems, and then we have some word problems. So we're just going to look at each type. So the number line, we're going to write an addition problem to model this picture. So I can see straight off that I'm going to start this with my 3. That's where my story starts, 3. And it says, and it's an addition problem, so I want a plus sign. Now, in this case, I was at the 3 and I moved back 2 hops or 2 spaces. So I was at the 3 and now I'm moving back or negative 2 spaces. And where I land is my answer. So 3 plus negative 2 is 1. And you might be saying, Mrs. Reedy, couldn't I just write 3 minus 2? Isn't that the same thing? Yeah, it really is the same thing, but we're going to get in the habit of using a plus sign and not using a subtraction sign. In the world of integers, subtraction is, not that it doesn't exist, but it's just kind of a situation that we don't look at a lot. And I know that's confusing, but we'll do some more practice on it. So right here, my dot starts at negative 3. And I do see that I've got some answer choices, but I'm going to write my problem down because it's easier for me to do the problem and then check it as opposed to like going back and forth all the time. So I start at negative 3 and then I'm hopping 1, 2, 3. And since this is in the positive direction, that's going to be like a positive 3. So negative 3 plus 3, and it landed on the 0. So I want to look at one of these problems that says negative 3 plus 3. So this has the plus first. Nope, there's got a 0 in it, whatever. Negative 3 plus 3 right here. This is the guy I want. Okay, so that was the number line. Now we're going to look at just the straight up math problems. And here's a rule to help you out. So if you have one of each, we're going to subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value. And that's just like, what I mean by that is just like the biggest number. Not looking at the sign, just like looking at the number, which one's bigger. So right here, negative 8 plus 2. Well, following the rule, I'm going to do 8 minus 2, just subtract the numbers, old school subtraction. So that's 6. And then I look down here and I say, okay, which number is bigger, 8 or 2? Oh, the 8's bigger. The 8 had that negative sign with it. So my answer is going to be negative as well. And if you think about it in terms of money, it's like you owe me $8 and you're like, hey, Mrs. Reedy, I have some money for you. Here's $2. Well, you still owe me more money. That's negative. You owed me 8, but you paid me 2, so you still owe me $6. So that's kind of like the situation. Again, I said I know that this is a little bit bizarre or weird. So the next problem, negative 9 plus 4, we're just going to subtract the numbers. So 9 minus 4, that's 5. And since the 9 is the bigger number, and it's negative, it's going to be negative 5. If you want to pause the video right now and do these other two, try them, go for it. If you just want to listen to them, that's okay too. So 11 plus negative 11, I'm going to subtract the numbers. 11 minus 11, that's 0. Now, here's the deal. 0 is never negative or positive. It's just 0. We're not going to write negative 0 down. So if you have an answer that's 0, just boom, leave it 0. Negative 2 plus 12. So I'm going to subtract the numbers. 12 minus 2, old school, biggest first was subtraction. That's 10. And then I'm going to look at the 2 and the 12. The 12 is the biggest number. It's positive. So the 10 is going to stay positive. Okay, so we looked at the number line. We looked at just straight up math problems. And I've got 2 examples of word problems. Let me zoom back out. Let's look at those. So Sarah was climbing a cliff and she stopped for a snack. After that, she climbed 13 feet to the next foothold and then slipped 7 feet to another foothold. Model the distance she traveled on the cliff after her snack as a sum. So she climbed 13 feet. That's positive. Like she went up the 13 feet, but then she slipped. And if she's slipping, she's falling down. That's negative. So she climbed up 13 and then she slipped down 7. So that's 13 plus negative 7. And again, get more math with the 2 boxes. The first box is where they want you to put the problem. That's what it means when it says model the distance as a sum. That means find the math problem. And then the second box is where they want the answer. And we need to remember to put our units of feet. So in all, after her snack, she climbed only 6 feet because she climbed up all that way, but then she slipped down again. So Sherry started the week with a balance of negative $110 in her checking account, and then she deposited $140 into her account. Write the expression with an addition that can be used to find the new balance. So she started with a balance of negative 110. She's losing money, like not having a good day, whatever, bad, in debt. But then she deposited, so she put some money in. Deposit means we're going to put that in. That's positive. So this is the expression that I would model. And I definitely want to make sure like it's an access with an addition sign. So bam, right there, that's my plus sign. And then down here, I want to put the answer. So negative 110 plus 140. That's $30.